All right, let's dial up the complexity a little bit and talk about the ABO blood group inheritance pattern.
Let's take a look at this next case. Which pattern of inheritance is involved here? Since we're dealing with the ABO blood group, multiple allele inheritance is involved. The alleles giving rise to red blood cells with the A antigen, as well as red blood cells with the B antigen, exhibit a pattern that's known as codominance. A and B are codominant with one another. What that means is that if we get one copy of the allele giving rise to the A antigen and one for the B antigen, the blood type that the individual will exhibit will be type AB. Compared with the lowercase I, which represents no antigen present on the red blood cells, which gives rise to type O blood, that is going to act in a recessive manner when paired alongside with the allele giving rise to type B blood or the one giving rise to type A blood. What that means is that if I get the type A allele and I get lowercase I for the type O, my phenotype is going to be type A blood. The only way I can get type O blood is if I get two copies of that lowercase I allele that gives rise to no antigens present on the red blood cells. Next, which genotypes could potentially belong to Mr. Rodriguez for blood type?
So individuals with the phenotype type A blood have two potential genotypes in play. The first is that they could be homozygous for the A antigen allele. The second is that they could be heterozygous. One of their alleles has the A antigen, and the other allele is the recessive lowercase I. In Mr. Rodriguez's case, we know that his mother had type O blood, meaning that his mother contributed one recessive lowercase I allele to his genotype. Knowing that his overall blood type is type A, that allows us to confirm that in Mr. Rodriguez's case, his genotype is undoubtedly heterozygous, exhibited in this lower genotype that you see.
Assume Mr. Rodriguez only has one copy of the allele coding for red blood cells with the A antigen, so he's going to have IA lowercase I. And he has a child with his partner who is blood type O. What will the genotype ratio be for that child? So we're told in the question stem that Mr. Rodriguez only has one allele coding for the type A antigen. So that means his other allele is going to be lowercase I, which is the recessive type O phenotype blood. And then we're also told that Mr. Rodriguez's partner has type O blood. Knowing that she has that phenotype, we can automatically intuit what her genotype is going to be. So on the y-axis, we'll do Mr. Rodriguez. And his genotype is going to look like this. Again, because the question stem told us it did. And mom will be on the x-axis. And since mom has type O blood, she has two lowercase I alleles. So let's plot out our Punnett square. I'm going to do the genotype here in the top so that there's still room to put the phenotype in. Okay, so that's the genotype. And if I'm looking at my genotype ratio, I'm going to count the number of different pairings I have, which I'm seeing 2 here. IA lowercase I, and then homozygous I. So my genotype ratio is simply going to be 2 to 2. Now, you may not need to do this in order to get the phenotype ratio, but just to trying to stay consistent, I'll put the phenotype below it inside the Punnett square just so that it can keep us on track. So in this first case, we're going to wind up with type A blood just like Mr. Rodriguez, as well as in the next case. And in the bottom two cases, just like Mom, we're going to wind up with type O blood. So our phenotype ratio going to be just like our genotype ratio in that it's going to be 2 to 2, representing A and O blood types.